shotgun, which was taken from the man who was robbed. S689195B. Yes. And the serial number S689195B, just the same. Remington Model 870. Standard issue.
Detective Inspector John Norman of the local CID is handling the case.
Just basically, yeah, the shot went up in the air. They came running out of here.
Running here?
No, first of all, the two security men came out of here. Came to here, approached by the two men with guns. And at that point, fight started, shot up in the air. They grabbed the money and ran. When they're carrying out the search for these wanted persons, they come across that chap who immediately started to run away. So they stopped him. They found a packet of DD in his pocket.
A dangerous drug?
Yeah, and unexpected bonus. And they also, he put up a bit of a struggle, which is always dangerous for PTU folkies. Yeah. So he's going to pay the price of that now. It wasn't his day, was it? Any other witnesses who get the names and addresses from PDU? And the UB blokes also the names and addresses of witnesses, all right? On there, it's the names and addresses of two witnesses. And then we'll all go back to the station and take statements from the security guards, all right?
Norman didn't stay long on the case. Crimes involving firearms and robberies over $5,000 are handled by a Special Crimes Bureau from police headquarters. Now Superintendent Ben Munford is in charge.
In my office, just down the end of the corridor. My DCs are now taking statements from the various, I think, 3 witnesses we got here today. And they're still doing them, long statements. My DC's also prepared a sketch plan of the scene. We searched all the junks and we alerted the Marine Department, Marine Police. No sign at that stage.
To my mind, it doesn't gel.
I don't think
they've come up. I think they must have had a car back down the road there.
I reckon too. Just the other side of that underpass. It's the obvious place to do it.
There was no suggestion of masks this time. That's last time they were wearing surgical masks. Yeah.
Urban area.
Munford's man, Detective Inspector Wong, gets the basic facts from the local CID. Wong's tough, mentally and physically, and like all members of the Special Crimes Bureau, he's a crack shot.
Watch and shoot, stand by.
More than once, he stared down the barrel of a gangster's revolver and come out on top. The police have established that the 2 security guards were taking the money to the bank when they were held up by 4 unmasked Chinese. They must have had a good look at their attackers. Perhaps they can identify them. There's only one other witness prepared to help the police, a beggar.
嗰個額瘦少少啊，
光㗎，因為當時嗰個人快啊嘛，同埋比較黑啲，有你好似你咁上黑，呢一個就比較你唔，即係好似你咁用黑。
Identikits. Probably a waste of time, but you never know.
高唔高？高唔高？高唔高多？
咁上，
係咁上下。
冇錯，額頭都有啲暗瘡嘅，額頭嗰度。
It's 4 hours after the robbery. Things are moving slowly. Witnesses are poring over photos and criminal records. The police are catching up with statements and identikits. Inspector Wong can't do much for a while, so he's taken some time off with his wife and son Tiger, who's 3.
Why?
Next day, Wong's squad's ready to start work. The only suspects are the unfortunate security men. It could easily have been an inside job. So Wong's first step is to eliminate the victims themselves.
When I'm questioning them, I will assess them from their appearance and from their manners to see whether they're telling the truth or not. 就係你究竟有冇同人哋串謀先？
我冇，
冇，冇啊嘛，真係冇。
冇千零蚊咁啦。
If they are lying, they will think for a period and trying to fake up a story to answer my question. If they are telling the truth, they will just answer the question very quickly. If you let them think for a long time, they can give you a perfect wrong story, counterfeit the story.
Wong's squad has returned to the scene of the crime. The theory is that the beggar couldn't possibly have been the only witness of an armed robbery by 4 men in a crowded market in broad daylight. Apparently he was.
咁一個人一到咁近距離嘅時候，你可以攞長龍攞柄撞佢㗎。
唔係啊，我嗰陣時你明白我環境地方大，而且我又冇留意到嗰個即係側跟嗰度有個人飆出嚟，我個方向咧就係望住隔離，同埋望住嗰個即係嗰個兄弟啊，玩住代簽嘅兄弟。我冇留意到，如果留意到我已經攞咗立低佢啦，係嘛？仲等佢慢慢知埋。咁佢一打走埋嚟嗰時已經，我即係同佢已經即係想擁跌佢㗎啦，嗰陣時。
你明知介款都危險㗎嘛，揸住長龍梗係要左望右望，好似過馬路咁左望右望先安全㗎。係
啊，我明白。咁我已經望咗右㗎啦，再即係冇話即係好話好聽，冇話兩隻眼拆開嚟望㗎。唔係話我意思咪話即係總唔知我咧就望。
I think they're telling the truth after questioning them for a period.
喺當日即係11號嗰日咧發生劫案。
The next stage, I will pass the information to all my informers on street, and they will be looking for the suspects.
出去即係睇下有冇即係揾下啲線人，有冇咧就消息，睇下有冇關於單案嘅消息，係咪明白啊嘛？明白。
3 days later, Inspector Wong has some intriguing news. An anonymous person has informed him that not only did he witness the robbery, but positively recognized 2 of the gang. Tonight, Wong plans to meet this informer for the first time.
好，一喺褲頭，呢窗度，行去嗰邊。我爹哋行嚟啊！
差人沒有哇！哎呀！
沒有，舉手。
你睇到啊？
好。啪！到你啦，舉手。呀！快啲！砰砰砰！我刮咗先。啊，刮咗喎！哎呀！啊，你埋，你埋。你哋喺邊度啊？
邊度啊？
佢俾一張10蚊紙我。嗯？10蚊紙我。冇啊。就好快翻嚟㗎啦。係啊。一張夠啦，一張。
要不要放水出嚟？
要啊。佢哋話費事多架車去咧，其實我哋架車去，咪淨係佢架車去坐埋上佢架車，我啱夠啦。
點咗翻嚟啊？
飲酒嘅。
點咗翻嚟？
頭先中午8打電嚟叫爹哋出去做嘢啊嘛，
爹哋早啲翻嚟啦
啦。！
爹哋早啲翻嚟咁啊！
知唔知啊？食完爹哋先，快啲。
爹哋早啲翻嚟啦咁啊！
食完啲嘢，快啲。
爹哋早啲翻嚟咁啦，我等你知唔知？同你食宵夜好唔好？翻嚟同你食宵夜，翻嚟同你食宵夜。
唔該，乜頭。嘢。
拜拜。
開門俾爹哋咧。
你好，你早啲翻嚟啊？
好啦，爹哋早翻嚟嚇。
你早啲翻嚟買綠色車俾我開車。
買綠色車俾你開車係咪啊？好啦，爹哋要賺錢賺得錢翻嚟買綠色車俾你開車，知唔知啊？
邊啲嗰個綠色車啊？
At At 8:15, Wong sets out to meet his informer. He told us we could go with him some of the way, but wouldn't allow us to film this first meeting. An hour or so later, Wong returns home after his meeting with the informer.
I interviewed him at about 2100 hours, and he told me that he saw 4 persons. The first one was running with a Remington shotgun in his left hand and a pistol in his right hand. The second one was holding a revolver in his right hand. And also he recognized these 2 persons. They met each other usually at the restaurant at Typo many times per week.
Did they see him or recognize him rather?
They, according to the informant, he said that they couldn't recognize him because he was wearing a sunglass and he was facing the wall.
Have we checked him out at all with the local CID with regards to possibly having a grudge against any of these 2 buggers?
Yes, I would do that.
Because, you know, I'm just thinking if he's trying to finger somebody, he might have some sort of motive involved other than...
I checked with the persons in Typo. They confirmed that there's such a person living there. And according to the information of the residents in Typo, they said that he's quite a dangerous person.
If we just pick him up in that restaurant, you only got 2. I mean, there'll be at least another 2. Yeah. If not 1 more. There should be, I reckon, on a minimum of 5 blokes. Possibly 6. Yeah. So we want to house these 2 and then put them under surveillance to try and identify the other 2 people involved. And see if you can get that address registration on the surveillance vehicle changed to a typo registration. And that will give us a reasonable good cover to be operating in the area with that vehicle. Okay, fine. Thanks very much.
Wong's boss, Superintendent Munford, didn't seem all that excited. We discovered later that this was because he knew something that Wong didn't. Secretly, he's put 2 other squads onto the case, and one of them's also got a good lead. But Wong's squad has had the go-ahead to carry out intensive surveillance on the 2 targets named by the informer. We set off in the back of a police surveillance vehicle disguised as an ordinary commercial van. We're heading for Tai Po, a small town 15 miles away. Wong's informer has said that the targets often go to a restaurant in the town and that he's seen them there with a gun discussing a check for $190,000. The informer has arranged to meet both men in the same restaurant today, but first he'll meet the police to prepare a trap. If the informer has no objection, the police agree that we can film the meeting. Wong's informer does allow us to film. He tells the inspector that one of the targets is already waiting in the restaurant. The informer's fitted with a bugging device. He'll now meet the man in the restaurant. If he can persuade this man to take him to the second target, A might lead to B, B to C, and with luck, the police might arrest the whole gang. With Wong's squad in the background and the bug on the informer, the trap's set.
入餐廳坐啊！喂，同我掹，唔使啦，你行啦。
Unfortunately, with an operation like this, there's no way a film crew can be present, so we're trapped in the van. Half an hour later, like it never happens in the movies, there's a cock-up. One of Wong's men has arrested the suspect prematurely. The arrested man is rushed to this local police station. It's now vital that the police get as much information from him as soon as possible before the rest of the gang gets to know.
係春雷紅領巾裏邊春雷嘅，我屌你老母仲唔撚搞？入撚到我哋 CID 特警啊，乜撚都講啊！嗱，我而家借沙田差館同你問你咧，我就好撚客氣對你㗎啦，知唔知啊？如果我帶你翻我哋總部咧，我諗你都幾撚過癮。嗱，而家我都講啦，明你聽，如果你係同我哋合作，我俾你做控方證人，咁你乜撚事都冇啦。 你唔係咁樣講啊！我唔知道啊，真係，我唔知道點做。如果知道，我想幫你哋啊！乜撚嘢？清清楚楚，大家清清楚楚講晒出嚟。我唔知點講，真係唔講㗎。唔講得啊嘛，真係唔講啊！唔知道嘅真係。咁你自己都話真係唔講得啊！我都唔知點講啊！而家我就俾條件你走啊！而家我夠撚晒證據告你，知唔知啊？人哋認撚得你啊，細佬！人哋認撚得你個死人撚款啊！ 我哋錄撚晒音啊！使唔使我全餅菲林同你翻撚晒出嚟俾你睇啊？嚇？使唔撚使啊？係啊！我唔知點。嚇乜撚嘢啫？你唔搞到人哋對住你啊！我屌你老母閪！我陣間翻嚟就招呼你㗎啦！嗱，你而家喺度驚驚地嗱，我有好撚雙語同你講啊！快啲講出嚟！我已經講晒我所講嘅。你知咬撚啊！你知咬撚喺邊撚度啊？ 我邊有呢啲咁嘅嘢啊！你仲講撚埋咧，邊撚度入子彈㗎？啱唔啱啊？我啊 check 撚到清清楚楚，我先冇講嗰啲嘢。都摸你㗎，冇講嗰啲嘢。嗱，屌你老母！你而家正正地講出嚟啊！我包你唔捱得幾撚耐㗎？我知道緊講，我唔知道我點講啊！收幾點啊？6點零7點鐘到啦。收夜晚6點零7點鐘。啊！我係啲。12點到1點鐘，你喺邊度嚟？ 咪嗰欄咯，嗰晚冇見過佢啊！冇啊，真係冇見過。嗰晚佢坐撚住架 BM776啊，老母個臭閪！我話幾個月冇見過佢。嗰晚啊，我哋影撚埋相啊，使唔使我俾套菲林你睇啊？嚇！我已經講晒出嚟啦，我話知道係咁多，我照實講啊。我知道我咁樣，我就梗係講出嚟啦。我唔知我點講啊！而家你就算你點樣逼我都講唔到出嚟㗎，咁我就唔知道。 即係諗撚住收撚緊10幾萬啦，係嘛？乜撚都唔撚講啦，係咪咁嘅意思啊？而家你講，我都同你講啦，如果你同我合作啊，你係最聽我個啊！而家同你合作緊啦，知唔知啊？嚇？咁我唔知道我點樣講啫。嚇乜撚嘢啊？嚇？ 講出嚟啊！你而家話我害人，我點樣害人？我邊有害到人？而家我叫你講出嚟啊！我講咩出嚟？我點知道咩啊？咁我唔知道點樣講出嚟啊！即係而家好撚醒啊！你而家好撚醒喎！而家你我唔係啊！唔係咁樣講啊！你而家好撚醒喎！你而家好撚醒啊！我知道你好撚醒啊！唔係醒喎！而家嚇？ 乜撚嘢都識答啊！我只有知你叫我講咁多，我咪講。我咪叫你講啦，而家我叫你講啲槍喺邊度？咁我冇啊！點講出嚟㗎？嗱，你唔好害撚到阿坤咧，俾人擁撚到半邊不遂啊！知唔知啊？我邊度揾啲槍出嚟啊？如果人哋有人見過你啲槍，你應承過我交出嚟㗎嘛？啱唔啱先？啱唔啱先？
啱唔啱？咁我冇做咩？我哋真係啲特警隊啊！我哋有好多特權㗎，你知唔知啊？我知咯。你知啊嘛？你明白？即係我哋乜撚嘢做乜撚嘢都合法㗎。我哋係屬於所謂外國警察裏邊嘅內政部嘅，你知唔知啊？我哋有無上權威嘅，你知唔知啊？知唔知啊？唔係啲大圈仔咁撚驚我哋個朵咩？咁撚驚特警隊咩？啱唔啱啊？人哋驚特警隊驚乜撚嘢啫？就係驚我哋拳頭夠硬啫嘛，係咪？有牙力可以講嘢，啱唔啱啊？係咪？啱唔啱啊？你唔好做人咁撚死板先得㗎，你遲早死嘅。我唔係死板啦，而家你問我都照直講俾你聽啦，大家都合作啦，我都講咗俾你聽啦。咁人哋見你嗰張車點樣樣計啊？咁兩張車係講個人㗎嘛，梁碧光㗎嘛。10幾萬啊！19萬幾？點樣借錢借19萬幾俾你啊？點樣借錢借19萬幾俾你先？你有乜撚嘢撚款俾人哋咁撚值錢？19萬幾20萬？點撚計？有乜撚嘢？你乜撚嘢值錢先？我睇唔到嗰張 number。你嗰條嘢大啊？嚇？槍咬老遠啊？咬10幾萬啊？啱唔啱啊？都冇，唔好裝眼鏡啦！你害撚死佢嘅。我冇害人哋啊！問下佢有冇見過嗰支槍？阿陸叔就話佢有支槍嚟。
Inspector Wong's running out of time. He decides to take a chance. The informer's also at the station. The police are pretending they've arrested him. Wong now confronts suspect with informer, saying that the informer has confessed all. The informer states openly he's seen the suspect with a gun. Then, to everyone's surprise, the suspect comes out with a remarkable revelation.
OK，呢個又唔使招呼佢㗎。係，暫時先。合作就喺出邊。
有咩講啊？神經六我哋講嗰支槍唔係佢嘅。人哋講嘅嘢如果唔撚啱，你點解唔撚咁駁佢啊？我點樣駁啊？佢話神經六同埋我一齊入去，我梗係同埋一齊入去啦。係啊，嗰陣時你同埋神經六一齊入嚟啊嘛。咁跟住就你俾支槍佢睇啊嘛。神經六拎出嚟俾佢睇啊嘛。嗰陣我同神經六仲係 friend 啊，冇買咩啊，咁樣佢成日同埋。
And so it appears that the arrested man, a self-confessed triad, has a friend who's a policeman. Wong still has to sort out whether the gun belongs to the policeman or the suspect. The prisoner's taken from the station to the village where he lives. While the others look for the gun, Wong questions his parents.
如果佢肯同我哋講實話嘅話咧，我哋會俾次機會佢同法官講，佢協助我哋調查，即係好幫我哋手，你明白？第二條路咧，如果佢同我哋唔合作嘅話咧，我哋咧就秉公辦理，你明白？因為法律不外人情，我哋負責執行我哋職責咧，就係鐵面無私嘅，你明白？
The search has produced nothing for the police and a lot of worry for an anxious mother. Inspector Wong has sent for the policeman who's supposed to have given his gun to the suspect. His nickname is Crazy Luke, and when Wong puts the charge to him, he certainly lives up to his name. He cries and vomits when he's told that the suspect is saying that the gun which was seen by the informer was in fact his, Crazy Luke's.
一個人講你啊，男子漢大丈夫，乜撚嘢都唔撚驚。而家我所照知嘅就係實情，我同你講清楚。有乜嘢事我都話黑板字抹過就算啦，啱唔啱？大家伙計，我亦唔想做你，我亦唔想又令你失去份職業，啱唔啱啊？係咪？我所需要嘅嘢我就知道嘅實情係點撚樣。點解佢會講話你俾啲槍佢玩咧？咁撚奇撚怪。
解釋嗰陣冇得解釋㗎，Sir。
點解冇得解釋嘅？點解佢會俾啲你話佢話你俾啲槍佢玩先？佢又同你咁撚 friend，你又俾個錢佢使，你冇使過佢錢，啱唔啱先？係咪？
真係冇啊！真係。
你明唔明白？
我真係冇見過。
係咪？如果我認為你係我有證據支持，你係有見過嗰支槍，你又俾嗰支槍佢玩過嘅話咧，我就公事公辦。
Faced with a farcical web of allegations and denials, Inspector Wong makes one last check. Perhaps the security guards can identify the suspect. The guards are quite certain the police have the wrong man, and with no case against him, he's set free. Wong's been up a blind alley. So was Superintendent Munford right? Was this an instance of informers settling old scores? Or was the whole thing simply a matter of mistaken identity? Inspector Wong hasn't got time to find out. $500,000 are still missing. But next week, the case of the payroll robbery is solved.
Next week, Inspector Wong and his investigators begin to close in on the gang when an address is given at which an arrest seems likely. The Big Swoop on the Hong Kong beat next Saturday evening at 9 o'clock. And there's a BBC LP and cassette of the Hong Kong beat.
To the same table. Later, in our student days, there were 2 beds and 2 tables, but in the same room. Later still, there were 2 desks, still in the same room. And right up to the very end, we worked in 2 rooms next to each other. Always